Bringing the vision into a mission. This is Global Mission of Peace with the GoldFish Report, September 21st, 2015. I am Radagast, and I am joined today with Sanjay, the wonder from down under.
G'day all.
Okay, and Louisa, our media outreach person and hostess.
Hello, everyone.
And of course, our friend and the person we love very much, the ambassador, the voice of the dragon.
Thank you very much, and it's nice to be back at the GoldFish Report. For 2 days, I've been, 2 times I've not been able because I've been in another country, in the mountains, doing some high-tech treatments with the new technologies to heal my body. So I've been away doing this to get myself back in shape, and it has been having a great result, and the technologies are groundbreaking. It's probably going to destroy the whole hospital system, and we need to fire all the people that is there totally unnecessary. But we're going to share some photos from the clinic and some talks. So maybe you could start, Louisa, by sharing. Maybe if I need to translate, I will translate that language. Okay.
Okay. First video.
Now, this video here is from inside my body. These black things there is, you're going to see later on, it's like poisons. Okay. Now, let's see, moving forward. There you see a little white thing moving around, which is a little parasite. Okay. And so basically I have a parasite inside my blood system. And if you move forward further on that video, if you can, I want to show you how this little disgusting fungus that is in the blood looks like. Yeah. So basically this is the way it looks inside your body and your blood. You can move to next film.
Okay. I'll have to, I think, go this way. Stop share, and then I have to go back in. And hold on a second. Escape. Nope, just had to press a different button.
Yeah. Remove this once. We already was watching this different.
Yeah.
This.
Hold on a second. Okay, there we go. I just couldn't get it working. Okay. So we'll talk about this one.
Yeah. This machine here, okay, is a turbosonic machine. Basically, you're lying in that machine, and it causes vibrations, okay, that goes to all your body organs and re-trigger them to start healing. Okay? It's quite uncomfortable lying in it because you're shaking and vibrating all the time. And it vibrates at different organs, different places there, and healing the people. Okay, so you can take next one.
Okay, hold on a second. Okay. And the next one is this one here. A second.
Yeah, here Shell is hooked up with all these wires, and actually you can see my feet there. And basically this is putting light beams and special type of vibrations and frequencies into your body. And it's a Tesla device that basically heal all your organs inside. And it feels like you're electrocuted all the time. And it kills bacteria, and it kills, all type of funguses and all type of, what's called this type of parasites and things like that. And it heals your body. You're living there in hours, and it's basically sending frequencies into your organs and healing all the organs. Okay, so this is a very high technology, very expensive one, but very good one. Okay, you can go to the next one.
That's all I have.
Okay, so I want to see. She didn't do the scanning machine.
No, well, she didn't send it.
Yeah, she did. Ask him to send this one, the scanning machines, and also some other machines.
Okay.
And Basic, this scanning machine basically scans through your ears and through your hands and foot, your heartbeats and everything, and it does like a
Sorry about that.
like a what we call a MRI, but on even down on the stem cell level. And so basically, that's one of the machines. And other machines basically go through all the Chinese spots and give you a diagnosis and give you what type of herbal medication you want. So this is very high-tech medical machines. And then they have this other machine where you stand up and you're shaking in different vibrations that activates different parts of your body, which is also very, terrible. And it is like training for 2 hours. And basically your blood is circulating through your body and you're shaking like a leaf.
Well, this is great technology. I mean, it seems like some of the people who have submitted business plans for funding through Global Mission of Peace there's many people who have the idea of having healing centers that have really alternative type healing technology. And this really looks like this would be perfect for something like that.
Yeah, because this is real things, has been developed by the best it's called institutions of the planet, and they're all patented. And the medical community doesn't want these machines out in the open, because then it will be no need for the doctors and the nurses and many of their so-called tests and blood tests and stuff like that. And you saw that you could even screen my blood into the smallest details that you saw there, and they find my poison, find my fungus, find this little disgusting thing. And it's also, this machine even told me how many vaccinations, which vaccinations, and what medications I'm taking. All the diagnosis was given there. Even that I've been depressed 2 months ago, it was shown on the sample, on the brain scanning. So everything, this is the most amazing form of machines that you can have. And we all have these machines now, and we're going to have it in our healing centers.
That's wonderful. Now, the blood test that you were, did they have to put dye on it to, tracers to mark the different kinds of enzymes or antibodies, or how are you able to really see the difference, all the different,
Of course, the doctor is guiding you through it and showing what it is and what is what, and how it works. And also I was showing how my blood white cells comes and defeat diseases and how it works. It's quite amazing. When you see these things, you definitely believe it's a God.
Right. So perfect. It's like the visual system. If people really knew what our visual system was like with the rods and cones and how they're connected and how it's just so amazing. If you knew the details of our visual system, you would know there was a God. You'd never question it ever, in case anyone is. But that vibrating cable.
The funny thing is that people doesn't realize one thing, which is the most important thing, is that actually this particular machines and devices shows things. If the normal medical community would do that, they could heal much more people without medications. And these vibration medications do the same thing as medications do without medications. You just send the vibration of a medication to a certain organ, and it will start healing without these things. So this is amazing technology existing already and can treat all forms of diseases, and it can find any disease that no other doctors can find. And it takes 15 minutes to do the analysis on that. So you can imagine that many people in the hospitals would not need to work, and most of the machines that they have developed in the past, it's not needed. So, of course, this is a threat to the medical community, but we have these machines and we're using them as we are speaking. And, for anyone who wants to be treated with them, please contact us and we can put them through this treatments. And also we have a cure for cancer that existed for 30 years, 100% remove all cancer. And we're going to have in all our clinics all this equipment and the floating boxes and everything. So I have now gone, collected them, and I'm having them. So now we don't need to say that can happen in the future. We have it now. So anyone wants to have it, try it out, more than welcome to do so.
That's fantastic, because that's really about quality of life, isn't it? It's without your health, you really have it's you have no quality of life. Sanjay, did you have a question or comment?
Well, yeah, I mean, just to say the one on the one you just said then, as they've always said, wealth lost, nothing lost, but health lost, everything lost.
Mm.
And what the ambassador has been saying, just echoing that, hospitals, right? This healing centers is like a more holistic hospital where everything can be done under one roof and not given medication to prescribe to go to the big pharmaceutical companies. It's basically healing in there. I mean, you can see this is not a myth. It's actually real. The ambassador's actually gone and done this and tried it himself. So he hasn't asked someone else to be the guinea pig to go and maybe get mutated or something. He's actually gone and done it himself.
Yeah. And also the things that I've been receiving, the nanotechnology things that I've been receiving to kill the bacteria and everything else, I've been taking it. I feel the result already immediately. And detoxation and everything. And even I had another machine that we didn't show here that also cleanses your whole intestines, washing your intestines out from every shit that you have inside of it. That one is quite, not so pleasant because you have to put this thing up your ass, but it still works wonders for the people.
The ambassador is so diplomatic, so. But that's really the reality of it, right? I mean, so you're saying it replaces a colonoscopy scan? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, not only that, it cleanses your whole colon out of all the dirt. It's washing, putting water up in your inside of your body and cleanses it, put oxygen there and other bacteria. And basically cleaning you all out.
That's wonderful. I mean, we really need to have some alternative healing technology because it's just they're not working for us. The medical community is not on our side. They only want, they make money off of our suffering. They make money off of sickness, and they worship money. That's why, because money is what they worship.
They are welcome. Anyone is welcome to come to our healing center that we already have now with all this equipment. And they receive the treatment, and we're going to have the best acupuncturists and naprapats and bone setters and floating machines for your remediation, all the things to diagnose your diseases, at the same time treating all your diseases. And also we have all the medications to clean out all type of diseases, and also we have a cure for cancer there, and also some other herbal teas and stuff like that Dr. Soren has done. So we have now a complete thing to basically defeat any disease on the planet. And, it's very cost effective and it's real. It's not that we need to wait. It's not that it's a dream, it's a vision. No, it's there. So we're turning now this technologies into a mission. It's not anymore hidden things. It's in the open. And someone wants to do it, just contact us and we will do it for them.
When you say it's cost effective, can you give us an idea of what the cost is?
I mean, for the machine, for us to buy them are quite expensive. But I mean, for the people that's getting the treatments, if you compare to a normal medication thing, I think a whole treatment to completely clean you and get you 100% well, okay, with this particular machines and with the floating and with all the things, we took about $7,000. And then basically you are completely rejuvenated and also healed from your diseases, completely checked, and basically having all the medications that you need also to cleanse and clean your body. So basically this is, and then you can go on doing work for a few, 10, 20 years and feeling like a young human being. And that's what we want to do. And if someone has cancer, then definitely this person really wants to have this. This scientist is also working on a cure actually both for HIV and Ebola and other type of diseases that you already have the things done. So now we do human trials. So all the things we're doing as we're speaking. So it's not like we are planning in the future. This is some technology might come. No, it's here. I did it. I tried it. And like I always say, we always show what we do. People meet the Red Dragon, meet the family, do the things. And also tomorrow on next program, we're going to interview the others that has gone through the 7-day floating program to them to explain. But I went through all the medical equipment that we've been bringing in, and it's wonderful. And we're going to have them at all our centers to be able to treat the people. And so it's wonderful. It's a great news, and we're doing it.
What do you think the insurance companies are going to do about this? Because they are in bed with the, with the medical, the conventional medical, industry. Do you think that
the truth is, this just one of these machines that you put your hands on and put your ears and your feet and check your pulse, check your blood pressure, do all the screening. That machine removes all screening process machines on the planet, and it takes 50 minutes. Okay, so all the other things that we had in the past is completely unnecessary. In reality, you could fire many people in the hospital and throw away all this garbage equipment. It is no longer. So of course the medical community is not happy about it, and but we're not going to push them into the hospitals. We're going to push them into our own clinics. So if people want to go and be tortured and waste their money, they can do that. Or if they want to be healed, they can come and do it at our place. Yes, by invitation.
The question was more about whether the insurance companies would pay for it, because if there's not,
in some countries they would pay for it, like in Switzerland they would pay for it. In some places they would pay for it. In some countries they would not pay for it. It depends what country you come from, and so on and so on. Right. But I think that even if you would take $70,000 for example, $7,000 and invest in this, treatments, then basically, you haven't lost anything. You have gained back your health. You know exactly where you are. Instead of wasting all the money going to stupid doctors that not know even what's the problem with you. Okay? So now we have it. We open the doors for everyone to come and try it. Okay? And also for information, it's not the ambassador getting the money. This money goes to the scientists and to the people that's actually doing these things. I'm just helping them out to get the equipment and the places or wherever they need to put it. I'm going to do that, but I'm not earning money on this. I'm here to help humanity.
That's a good point to mention. Sanjay, did you want to jump in?
Yeah. Well, just with regards to replacing the hospitals and stuff we're talking about, this is more like, for example, imagine yourself in a third world country on an island, right, where there isn't hardly any medical facilities, and they can't afford these billion-dollar machines, 50 million machines that they've got to have in a hospital to test all this stuff. One machine that the master is talking about replaces a lot of those machines. So we can actually take this technology down to the grassroots now and help humanity at the lowest level, right? Which the big pharmaceutical companies are not interested in helping.
Yeah,
right?
I have been preparing with one person to make a bus, and that bus basically will have this equipment inside of it, and basically we could go and basically treat people anywhere with this bus. You could go into Africa, you could go into India, or wherever you want to go, up in the mountains, everywhere. We just put it in a Geländewagen and basically just go up and treat people anywhere we want. So it's we can make an ambulance of it with not only the screens and find out what's the problem with the person, but finding the cure and curing them. At the same time, also prescribing them herbal medications and real medication that actually works, doesn't harm you, and heal the people.
That sounds excellent. I mean, we really need to make a change in our medical, community, because it's not working. People aren't getting better, and there's nothing preventative. There's really nothing preventative at all. This seems very preventative. Radagast, now, in terms of that, how do you see the insurance industry? I mean, do you think they'll accept this? Do you think that they're going to have a problem with this, or see it as preventative, or what's your perspective on that with the insurance industry?
Well, I actually think the insurance industries in many ways have become middlemen that we really would like to see gone. I mean, they've kind of gotten in between the patient and doctor relationship. And when you're speaking, I mean, $7,000. When you think about co-pays and premiums, I'm quite sure $7,000 would be underneath that, especially for chronically ill people. So I think this, first of all, cuts out the people who are not involved in the healing, and that's the insurance companies. They're there to have a take. I mean, I really do. I've never been a big fan of insurance companies, and with something this effective, now your money goes to the treatment and not to a bunch of people in offices doing paperwork. And also, I mean, chronic illness is a real problem, and of course, a real breadwinner for the medical industry. And this is so thorough that it eliminates chronic illness. So, I mean, I know it can treat acute, but chronic illness is the real weight on illness in any country, and especially the more modern countries. And then, of course, in the impoverished countries where parasites and other kinds of blood contaminants are a big problem, it also helps them. So in many ways, I mean, to me, it's just like insurance companies. How about, they go away? Or how about there's only catastrophic insurance? Because again, Western medicine is still very good if you're all busted up. But I mean, for basic health care, I mean, this is money well spent. And again, it's better to spend your money on this than, all the insurance you buy, so you don't have to pay the ridiculous fees they want to charge you. This is brilliant. I mean, not only is it real, but it's really human. And it brings the person who takes care of the people and the people who need the care together without the middleman, which is what I consider insurance companies.
Let me just ask the ambassador to clarify. Are you saying it was $7,000 for the treatment, or to buy one of these units to put into a facility?
No. But treatments. It's for the treatments, okay? Because of, and that's including the floating treatments and the the bone setters and all the screening and the medications that is going to be prescribed, everything included.
Yeah,
is 7,000.
That is that is so cost prohibitive. It is not nothing. I think it is so cost prohibitive for most people that it's not possible. It's not accessible to people. I think that this is going to be a big problem for people, quite honestly. I mean, I think it's wonderful that, to make it available, but I don't think people are going to be able, many people who need it, maybe the ones who need it most, might not be able to have access to it. I'm just a little bit concerned about that. And how
then you need to you need to set up a foundation that basically can help people with that type of things that really needs it. And, it's many different ways, but you have to start somewhere. Mm-hmm. Okay. Now these technologies are not being funded by the state, they're being funded by ourselves. Mm-hmm. And now these technologies are free and open, but to run it, to have the people working, to put the goods and stuff like that, it's very accessible. I believe that, even payoff plans, like you're paying small money per month for if you don't get paid the whole thing, it's also possible. So we just need to find alternatives, and in the future we want to be able to have them, and as even like I said, in ambulances, and where we can go out and when we own this equipment, buy this equipment in masses, and then we can treat people for free also as a part of humanitarian assistance. Okay, but as it is right now in the clinics, which you already is put up in the places where you can go and do it, it is a cost price because of the rent that the people pay and electricities and all the other thing and the staff and things like that. That's why the price becomes like that, because this particular treatment is not being done in a third world countries, done in one of the most expensive countries on the planet. Yeah, that's why the price is up, and I think also the price, by my opinion, it's too high for many. But it is ways to go through it by down payments and credits and things like that. So, we can find ways to get this done, but I think people should start taking care of their health, especially in order to have good health when you're doing projects.
Right. I'm always going to be concerned about accessibility for people, because it is a steep price. And I'm not saying it's not well worth it. It's just that it's not accessible, I think, to some people. And I think what the ambassador is saying is, to come up with ways to help people. And I think one of the ways you do that is by, those, okay, you're saying there's overhead costs. You have to buy the facility, you have to pay overhead. So you have to build that into your price. But I think you also have to build into the price those who can't afford to pay. So you're, in a sense, subsidizing the people who don't have, and there's no possible way. And there's people on the planet that make $7,000 in a year. And, there's not possible for these people to have access to this, and they may need it very much. So I'm really going to be very concerned about people having access, to these technologies.
We'll see when we put it in our castle. We will see what will be accessibility. But at this particular clinic, it's already full up and swinging.
Mm.
It's
fantastic. Yeah.
Also, it doesn't exist.
Nope.
It don't exist.
We're losing audio a little bit with the ambassador.
Existing at all free castle. Yeah, we will have it in all free castles in Europe. Right. Okay, but at the time now we have one clinic in the mountains, and that clinic is the only one in Europe. It doesn't exist in America at all, and so basically it's only one in Europe. So if they want to go, they have to do it. The floating thing that we have in China, this one machine is being moved also to this clinic. So everything would be there, but also have purposing this equipment for the castles and for our own treating centers, and we're going to have people going to the other scientists to be trained, the doctors and the nurses to be trained to deal and handle this particular machine.
Very good. Sanjay, did you have a comment that you wanted to make?
Well, yes. I mean, look, yes, $7,000 is a lot of money in some countries. People don't earn that. Now, let's put things in perspective, right? Looking at what you had just raised before about insurance. If, for example, in Australia, a single person can pay anywhere up to $300 a month for insurance, right? So in 10 months, that's $3,000. So in 2 years, that's $6,000. So in like 2.5 years, you've paid all this money and you've not fixed your problem, right? Your bones are not fixed. Like we know, one of our colleagues has actually had the legs fixed. She couldn't walk, now she can walk. Your parasites in the body, as the ambassador was poisoned to be killed and stuff, but obviously he's alive and with us and well. And in third world countries where you have all these parasites coming from the ground because of all the chemicals and things like that. So $7,000 is a lot of money. Yes, but this is why we are here, right? We have projects, we have people that will actually do humanitarian stuff, and we can fund those things. But for those that are actually suffering right now, right? I mean, imagine people I know of a friend who's a pharmacist, and her mother is suffering with cancer, and she kept telling me, no, there's no cure for cancer. And they're spending tens of thousands of dollars, right? And there's people like that every day. Look at the private hospitals all around the world. In US, just to stay in the hospital one day is $20,000, right? So you're telling me that's not accessible when people are actually paying this? This is where we've got to change this whole, all of us, including myself, the GoldFish mentality, that we are happy to go to a hospital and pay tens of thousands of dollars to fix, or try and fix something which we never fix, but will go on to medication for life to suffer. Yet $7,000 would actually find everything, fix everything. And yes, maybe some of us can do projects that we invest in these buses that Ambassador's talking about and taking it out to the people, right? We run some other business to subsidize that, but this is where the charity foundations will come into it. Let's take it to the villages. Let's take it to Davuni, for example, as you said, right? You've been there in Fiji, which is a remote island, doesn't even have electricity. Let's take it to places like that where they don't have hospitals. So can you imagine a bus in a place like that who've never had access? They've had to fly over to so many places, the cost, and people die. So many people die. This will save so many lives.
Sanjay, how do the villagers in Fiji afford this? They live off the land. They live off the land. These aren't even people that have to work. They live off the land.
Louis, this is the thing. This is why I spent time in Fiji, as you know, in Vietnam, in Cambodia, in Thailand. People are dying in the villages, the ones you're talking about. They're actually dying because they can't afford to get to the hospital.
Right.
I mean, from Tavini to
That's a
someone to
problem.
get to Suva, right? It's
Yeah.
impossible almost. Right? You got to catch a plane or a ferry or whatever. They don't have the money. They die. But what the master is talking about, this bus, well, we can make it like 6 monthly or yearly. We have this foundation set up where we can go around and visit them. It's not just Fiji, Vanuatu, Papua New Guinea, all these places, right? These are the Pacific Rim regions that I work with, and I know how hard it is there, right? So, like, let's be serious, $7,000. I mean, we, as you know, we're talking about projects up to $5 billion, right? I mean,
but hold on a second. Let's look at the numbers. I mean, if we didn't have the overhead, if we had it on a bus, it wouldn't cost $7,000, would it? If we had it
well,
in
it
a
still would.
hospital.
The machines
Yeah,
the
but I
machines are
don't think
quite
so.
expensive.
I don't think the overhead costs would be the same. You know, there would still be overhead costs, but I'm not quite sure they would be the same because, you know, if you're bringing it to a village in Fiji, these people can't afford to pay it. Who's going to subsidize? So this is where okay, so we need to do fundraising. We need to provide the funds to provide these services for the people. And I agree. I mean, they only had cadaver sutures when I was in Fiji. They didn't have real stitches. They had a cadaver, and they had all the children in the village watching, you know, whatever this makeshift ER was. And it was very, very, you know, modern. And it was fine. It's just, you know, they didn't have a lot of, you know, supplies, and so I know they don't have, you know, resources to pay.
And that's what I'm saying. This will make it real, right?
Yeah.
By what the ambassador is already looking at. Like, I mean, the centers are there. That's great, right? We need to have those centers because we need places like training. Like, people go to university, right, where they teach you theory. Like, I've been to university myself and learned a whole heap of theory, but I never understood any of the practical because until you actually get out in the place. So these centers that the ambassador is talking about will be great for other people to go there and learn.
Sure.
But the buses is where we will take it through the foundations to the grassroots, right?
Yeah, we have to do it that way because the people have to have access. Really, access is number one, I think.
Yeah, because remember, those people that we're talking about right now, and you've been on the ground and I've been on the ground, right? They do not have access to this already.
Yeah, these aren't people who are already paying. I'm not talking about the people who are already paying for health insurance out of their salary, you know, through their company. I'm talking about people who aren't employed, maybe are, you know, look at our veterans. What about our veterans? How would our veterans benefit from this? How would all the people who, you know, who are in Gaza, you know, these people have nothing. I mean, you know, their homes are decimated. So how would they benefit through the ambulance kind of thing?
Yes, again, exactly. As you know, we have, as the ambassador says, we have up to about 900 projects available. So there'll be people joining us that might now see this and say, well, okay, you know what? This is my project for this country, right? They can write a project funding, they come through the system, and then they could do this as a humanitarian if they need to.
Right.
So we've already provided, the ambassador's now provided the vehicle, right? The world has shunted this and closed this, right, to the hills, but now it's actually coming down to the foothills to be accessible to everyone. And that's what we need to do. This is what we are all about here for with the ambassador and the family, is bringing these technologies to everyone, right?
Let me ask the ambassador a question about this, because what about you know, regulation, and has there been the center that's already where you were treated and already has everything set up, was there certain special licenses or any kind of regulation that they had to you know, fulfill in order to do what they're doing, or was this you know, was it in other words, is anyone monitoring these to see if they're actually safe, the treatments? The ambassador is muted. We have to unmute him as soon as he... this is live, so anything can happen here. So...
Well, it is like I said that these institutions are made by you know, the great institutions, places like DARPA, like other type of institutions, of a Russian similar type of institutions creating this type of technologies. And now we have been putting these technologies into places. Now you can go around the corner of some things, like for example, like you are not allowed to inject this fluid into the body that is used to kill the cancer in the box, okay? But the person can do it himself. We just put it to him and he just starts it himself, then it's legal. So it's just ways to go around the law to make these things legal. But of course, we're going to have a huge enemies in the pharma, and that's why we're going to do it in covertly, but at the same time effectively.
Right, I see. Because I think, unfortunately, usually with really, we have seen, I think, in the past that with really good innovations, we see that it gets stuck in red tape, especially in the United States. I mean, I think we probably have, the longest roll of tape they can find. And our government, creates so much regulation to discourage this because it's not maybe along their agenda. So I don't know about, how, I mean, even there's a very well-known doctor in Texas who has successful treatments for cancer, and they did everything they could to shut this man down. Dr. Brzezinski, I think it's the Brzezinski Clinic in Texas, and he's very well known. And unfortunately, they force people to undergo the conventional chemotherapy. We're talking about children at this point who have cancer, and they really force the children's family to choose conventional chemotherapy, which is so destructive. It's like, putting pesticides in your body, massive amounts of pesticide in your body. And so once you do that and it causes all this damage to the body, the problem is the insurance company then won't pay for the alternative treatment until you've already gone the traditional route. And unfortunately, and I saw a documentary on this, and I thought how sad it was that they forced this little child with cancer to go through chemotherapy, although his parents didn't want to do it. They didn't want to go that route. But the insurance companies make so much money off of these treatments, and that I don't know why people really don't wake up and see that that's what's behind it, that, you really have to start questioning authority, quite honestly, and you have to put it in their face, and don't stop until you get an answer, because why would you want to subject your child to chemotherapy when it's not even proven that it's going to save the child's life? I saw this child who was treated with the chemotherapy, and he wasn't even vibrant anymore. He obviously lost all of his hair. He seemed to have regressed in terms of developmental, stages. And it was the saddest thing. And as a mother, it breaks my heart to see children. It's like one thing I have a very difficult time with myself personally is seeing children who are sick and like with terminal illness. It just really upsets me terribly. And then to force them to undergo these barbaric treatments. And quite honestly, they're barbaric. They're horrible on these little children. So it's really great to see that the ambassador is very dedicated to wanting to bring these alternative treatments. And I think that when you have a child, with cancer, you'll do just about anything. You'll sell your home if you have to get them the right kind of medical treatment. So I do tend to agree. Radagast, did you have a comment?
Well, yes. Because if you're going to go to these machines to get your diagnosis, the diagnosis stays out of the purview of the medical community. So there's nobody getting in the middle. There's nobody saying, "Oh, you have cancer. You can't do the alternative treatment." You get diagnosed in an alternative place and treated in an alternative place, and nobody has to know. I mean, really. I mean, that keeps the snoops out of your business. The other scenarios where they know about the cancer and then you get diagnosed and a regular doctor knows that you're diagnosed, and then you go alternative and they bust you. Where if you get diagnosed alternatively and treated alternatively, nobody has to know.
Yes, Rodriguez. If our sister Cheryl would have been here, she was talking about this injection, immunization. In Australia the other day, we had in Melbourne a whole heap of people, parents and children, all come out fighting for human rights. And this is why I keep saying to people, let's not fight for white rights. Let's not fight for black rights. Let's not fight for gay rights. Let's fight for the basic human rights. Let's have the right to choose immunization, medication, and all this stuff. So this is where people in the countries that vote the governments in have to actually show the power, exercise the power, saying, okay, we know this healing exists. We know we don't want our family dying, right? So let's just get people organized and basically go, well, mate, if you want to die and you're not going to do anything about it, well, then I'm sorry. But if you want to actually do something about it, you can do something about it. Every person has a right. It's basic human rights. We have the choice.
Well, you know, the ambassador mentioned something about nanotechnology, and I'm curious about that. He said he was treated with some nanotechnology, and I'm wondering if he can describe to us exactly what that was. The ambassador with us, you're muted, just so you know.
Yes, it is a drink.
Mm-hmm.
And so inside this drink is this nanotechnologies. And basically it goes and kills bacteria and the parasites and the fungus and all these different things and all the diseases in the body. So it goes inside your body, goes straight into your bloodstream, and basically just destroy all the shit that you have inside yourself.
That sounds
Literally.
interesting. Now, let me ask you, this nanotechnology, I mean, is it designed specifically to attack certain things? Can it be re-engineered? Can it be redesigned? Or is it kind of like a roto-rooter, goes in and just kinds of, you know, like liquid Drano and just cleans it all out? Or is it specific to the illness? Because I would think, like, if somebody has leukemia or if somebody has, you know...
Exactly.
It would be...
Yes, it goes directly to attack what is trained to attack or which is meant to attack. Okay, so basically this particular one that I'm eating is to kill parasites inside the body, kill the fungus inside the body, killing bacteria and infections inside the body. So basically this is what it's there to do. And so it's and of course it's there also to attack cancer cells too. So if you have, because don't forget that also cancer is a fungus.
Right. And I think that most people don't know that and, you know, are quite amazed at that when they discover it, because it seems so simple, yet why are we throwing all these, you know, harmful, barbaric chemicals and treatments on a fungus? It doesn't seem to make much sense that something that is a fungus that could be, I think, more easily treated. And this Dr. Brzezinski has a clinic where he does something with the plasma in the blood, and there's a very, very unique process that he has to treat the cancer using some sort of, and I don't understand this 100%, and I don't want to misspeak on, you know, about his process, but I know it had something to do with the plasma in the blood, and that he manipulated that. He did something to the plasma, which I suppose would help the T cells fight the fungus. I don't know. It seems like if it's a fungus, it shouldn't be that difficult to destroy. But I do know that there's different types of cancer cells, and certain types of cancer cells respond to chemotherapy, and certain types of cancer cells don't. So there must be more than just one breed or one strain of fungus, because you know, there seems to be some fungus that does respond to medication and treatment. And I'm just wondering, you know, for people who were like in the real scientific people, really need to see data to back up the claims that these machines are making. And do you happen to know if there's an awful lot of scientific research out there, or if there's any scientific...
Yes, of course, everything is there, and it's just that you cannot promote it too much.
Yes.
Because then you create the danger of being stopped. But yes, everything is there. Okay.
I see. That would be helpful to have that information.
We have it, yeah.
Yeah. Is it something you think we can post on our website to help people?
Next time, what I will do is that we will put together a small movie about the things and post it so that everyone can see it. Okay? And also with some photographs and some other interesting documentations that was done by us. Okay.
Okay, that's great. We'll have that information up for people so they can know where to go and plan accordingly if they want to if they're interested in these treatments. And again, I think it's really a quality of life issue that that the ambassador is concerned about, and it's really about enjoying the life that you have and helping other people because we're here in the physical world, so we might as well do the best we can with it while we're here. We're only here for a short period of time. So who wants to spend their life being sick and feeling unwell? And nobody that I know. So I really appreciate the ambassador going through this and sharing this with us and bringing this information to us. And it's quite personal. He shares some very personal things with us, and that's very genuine and sincere, and we really appreciate that, because not everyone is willing to divulge their personal health information, and but we can tell that that's obviously something that's important to do. And we appreciate you sharing that with us. Really, we really do.
Okay, perfect. So I want to thank you all for today, for this GoldFish report. It will be a little bit shorter one today. And I just been traveling the whole day, and I just arrived back. I was in another country doing these treatments, and now I'm back here in this other country. And so I just started working on all the things that we did. I'm going to post it on next Wednesday, and I want to thank everyone to join the GoldFish report. And anyone that has any form of questions about relation to that, please join the symposium and find out more what has been happening with everyone else going for the testing and training these latest weeks. Okay, perfect. And thank you very much. God bless you.
Thank you. And this concludes this edition of the GoldFish Report, and we would like to just remind you all that you can follow us on the goldfishreport.com. And also would like to make the announcement that, of course, the ambassador, as you heard him say, that globalmissionofpeace.com is our home website, and we are still accepting business plans and pitch presentations. I guess present your business plan, your project, and you can register to do those things on cbcglobaleducation.com. You will find information there to guide you and to help you to understand what's needed, what the process is like, and what you need to do to stay in the process. We will also have pages, additional pages. We'll have other people. There'll be links on there, as the ambassador said, to this. Basically a little mini documentary about some of what this technology will do, what it provides, and also on other reports that we have presented. There may be other resources that you're interested in that we could also include on there. So again, I want to thank you all for joining us. Thank you for following us. Thank you for your comments. We appreciate them all. And this concludes this edition of the GoldFish Report. And thanks for joining us.